Salam, hello everyone, respected sir and madam of the panelists, fellow researchers, everyone involved in this international seminar, and also everyone who watches this video. My name is Fani Sartika, and together with my colleague Ibu Suryani Murad from Muhammadiyah Aceh University, we conducted this research, and we are very pleased to have the opportunity to present our research to the HSSH 2020 International Summit Conference. I would like to make a presentation about our research. Retailers are business sectors that already struggle to be remain strong with rapidly growing competition, especially from the online stores, even before the pandemic happens. With the pandemic, of course, it hit. COVID-19 pandemic has forced business to make some or perhaps a lot of changes in order to survive. It is one of the most significant environmental changes in modern history that could potentially has a profound impact on basic marketing philosophy. This pandemic has also shifted consumer behavior to the extent that they might leave a mark even when the emergency is over. Most of the retailers are already aware about the need to create consumer satisfaction and well-being in order to maintain their presence in business. But what makes consumers satisfied before and after the pandemic might not be the same. Pandemic is an uncertainty situation, and despite the perennial need to understand and manage uncertainty in business, there is no comprehensive framework about it. This makes it difficult for business managers to develop appropriate strategies to deal with it effectively. So this research is trying to analyze whether retailers' perception of the right strategy in this regard is also satisfied the consumer and considered concern for their well-being. For the research method, it is conducted in Indonesia. The data was being collected during October and November 2020. And this research is a descriptive study and using a survey research method and analyzed using descriptive analysis method. We interview 20 retail business owner or manager and we get 314 samples data of consumer from the questionnaire being distributed to know how they perceive retailer strategy. From the data obtained, we know that several strategies being carried out in order to get consumer satisfaction and well-being during this pandemic time. Those strategies are as mentioned on the table. We carried out a descriptive analysis using statistical programs, and the result is as seen on the screen. I will try to dissect the information one by one on the research findings. The first strategy being analyzed is setting up an online facilities because along with the decline in mobility, providing online shopping facilities is used by retailers to not lose their contact with the consumer. Most retailers already had these facilities before the pandemic, but before the pandemic, this facility was put forward to be introduced to the consumer. From the figure 1, we know that consumers prefer to shop in retail stores that provide these facilities. The figure 2 shows a graphic frequency to a question about consumer preparation in actually using the facilities. We know that the result shows that only 0.3% responded fully choosing online facilities provided. Most of them are still prefer going to the store occasionally. From the interviews, we know that consumers still need to go to work or any other activity in the pandemic, so shopping at retail store occasionally will not be a problem, though they are happy with the online facilities provided. Some also say that going to the retail store is actually considered a pleasant time that they like to do since pandemic limiting people going to places. So retailers can take advantage of this moment to create a nice ambience of the store, so it is considered as an enjoyable places to visit. We also asked respondents about their preparation for delivery services that support the online facilities. And from the result, we know that most consumers prefer to have a delivery services for the stuff they bought online compared to the click and collect one. If retailers can provide it, so consumers only need to do one click shopping, most likely it will boost consumer satisfaction in using the online facilities. And this strategy also can be carried out in the long term after pandemic to meet the large amount of shifting consumer behavior. The next strategy is doing physical distancing. It is a recommendation for society to do during a pandemic, but there is a doubt whether this strategy affects business negatively. But from the result, as we seen from figure 4 to 6, we know that consumers actually agree and highly support this strategy, and this is considered a good strategy to show concern about consumers' well-being. Now about pulling the self-service strategy. It is considered to pose risk to consumers, visitors, and employees. Uh, the self-service strategy because consumers need to touch and approach to many items in the store. That's why some stores are pulling self-service, eliminating it and replacing it with full service from shop attendant. Do the consumers complain? The answer is support by finding as shown in Figure 7. However, retailers need to be careful with this strategy because comparing to the other strategy, the lowest mean number of the descriptive analysis is in this strategy, meaning there's still quite number of consumer who's not really into this strategy. This could happen because with pulling self-service, consumer perhaps losing the experience of picking goods from the shelves, which is one of the activity favored by consumers from shopping. Now, as we know, it is extremely important during pandemic to always maintain hygiene. There are extra expenses that must be incurred by the store in this regard. Whether this strategy carried out to simply meet the service standard during a pandemic or it really help in improves public health and also consumer satisfaction is still a question to some retailers. But the finding in this research, as we can see from figure 8 to 10, that most consumers are giving positive attitude with the regulations regarding health hygiene. And since physical distancing applied, payment in store might be a problem. Contactless payment is a strategy. To provide a contactless payment, some retailers provide digital payments, and some who doesn't have it using more conservative way by installing protective screen to limiting contact at pay point, and some retailers also doing both. From figure 11 and 12, we know that most consumers are likely choosing digital payments for shopping during the pandemic, but they're also not having problem with protective screen. The digital payments strategy also can be carried out in the long term as traditional marketing will travel to digital marketing in general. And then, in order to meet demand expectation during the pandemic, many retailers are diversifying their products with producing medical garments. They also hope will help to anticipate a decreased demand for their main product, so consumer will buy the other product while buying another product. The strategy to produce health-related product was taken not only in order to make profit, but also in the context of social awareness related to the pandemic situation. From figure 13 and 14, however, we know that most consumers indeed they totally agree with the idea, but the matter of their efforts to buy the product is a different one. The research shows that only 9.6% consumer is highly positive and will buy, 29% saying they will make efforts to buy, but the rest of it saying otherwise. Therefore, before doing this strategy, retailers should make a calculation regarding the production costs of the product with the possibility of it. And then retailers, we know, also have a special role in the society to pay attention in the social problems that occur around them. Retailers could also do this strategy and they can get benefit from their consumers, even though they are not getting direct benefit, but consumers will feel proud to shop at a store who has shown care and empathy during time of crisis. The last strategy being analyzed is about changing the layout of the store to meet the needs in the pandemic situation. The result shows that this is a good strategy and it is indeed satisfied consumers, so it is considered as a good one to do. Okay, the conclusion is our research is that strategies adopted by retailers already satisfied consumer and considered pay attention to consumer well-being. Retailers could consider to continue this strategy for the long term even after the pandemic has ended, especially for the strategies that are highly favorable. We hope this research aims to its purpose and help retailers getting competitive advantage during this pandemic with implementing the right strategy that can boost consumer satisfaction and at the same time put concern for consumers' well-being. Thank you very much for listening to us. We are looking forward to inputs and suggestions. Take care and stay safe. Salam.